Well, everybody talks about the California quakes, but the first time I ever felt the earth shake was in Miami. When Amy touched me, oh, it shook me. I told her I loved her and I wanted to stay. But she said,
Hey, everybody. It's time for your Browns Friday Fumble.
I better go and fall on it.
Don't try to pick it up and run.
Don't try to scoop and run.
You know what? First of all, we all know there's big news we need to talk about.
Yep.
It's pressing. It's immediate.
A big old thing.
Something you're dying for more opinions on, especially from a hyper fan perspective.
Yeah.
But we're going to cover that later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
First of all, it's a victory. It's a victory Friday.
Ah, yes. The entire, 6 days?
Yeah, it's been a lot.
No, 8 days.
So many days. But we won. We won the game.
We sure did.
There's a lot of controversy surrounding the end, and as I said, we will get to that.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
But right now, there are bigger problems on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say to the listeners, pardon my lozenge. I'm Greg Williams over here. I need a goddamn lozenge. So I'm doing it. You're going to have to deal with the mouse sounds. I bought nice microphones. They pick up all the mouse sounds because they're sultry. Dylan, how are you?
I'm doing great, baby.
It's a very sexy episode of the Friday Fumble. So, yes, we won the game. It was 21-7. A dominant performance. That really was not indicative of the score.
No.
Wait, the score was indicative of the score. It wasn't indicative of the level of domination that the Browns put
or the
on
level of anxiety felt.
Oh, sure.
Throughout
I will
the
say
game.
that after the game firmly was over, that I then recalled the domination.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not perfect, Dylan.
No, my gosh, it was not.
And I'm not talking about the one thing that everybody's talking about,
No,
which
no.
we will cover.
Yeah, it's
Wait.
at length.
Wait for it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, Dylan, we're not afraid to do a whole thing.
Oh, we're going to do it.
We're going to do it upright. So, first, let us recap the game because there were problems, Dylan.
I know.
First of all, you should have put up 40 points. You didn't. They scored a touchdown.
Yeah, what?
What?
I'm sorry?
Huh? If you picked any random play out
that
of
offensive powerhouse? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what?
with Brett leading the charge.
Brett the Third?
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into some specifics because we'll talk about Brett Mason Rudolph later.
We have a whole list here, guys.
So first of all, Dylan, if we have one rule here on the Friday Fumble
Yep.
that we bring up every week,
Every waking moment.
There
of
is-
every episode.
there is no episode where we haven't done that. What do you do in case of a fumble?
You friggin' fall on it, man.
You don't try to pick it up and run. Sheldon Richardson, you tried to pick it up and run.
Tried to scoop.
He tried to scoop it. I mean, was it the biggest mistake made in this game?
No.
No, it wasn't.
No.
But we obviously will cover that later.
We'll cover that later. Dave, Odell Beckham needs to own up to the fact that he broke his iPad. Can't read anything on it.
Yeah,
All
screen's
the
cracked.
plays, all the plays. Obviously, this is causing a big problem.
If you saw Building the Browns, that iPad it's how they get all their information.
all their communication, especially the out routes,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know what? He's just going to
'Cause
own
it's
up to the fact
it's the left side of the screen.
he's going
that's
to need to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to.
I mean, you can't avoid it forever.
there's no point in hiding it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no point.
The
You're-
end of the
you're
year is going to
hurting
come in.
yourself.
It's going to come time to turn it in.
Yeah.
And they're going to look at it.
They're
know?
going to see it. They're going to see it. It's out of warranty, guy.
Yeah, you're going to need to pay for it. Maybe he's going to take it to Broadcast Phone and see if they can do a screen replacement.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're going to have to face up to the disciplinary action that's coming to you.
Yeah. And although that's not the big disciplinary action that we're going to cover on this episode, that's coming a little later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Still necessary.
Now, Joe Schobert.
Yeah.
You may think Joe Schobert with, let's see, 7 tackles, 2 for a loss, including a sack, 2 interceptions. Okay, you're thinking, oh, that's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Apparently the Defensive Player of the Week voter, whoever that is, didn't think that.
I guess not.
They gave it to some guy
I guess not.
From Oakland named Max with 2 X's.
Mm-hmm.
But I know why that is now.
Okay.
And that's because Joe Schobert let the quarterback tackle him.
Oh, my God.
Should have been a pick 6. He let a quarterback tackle him, and it was a quarterback who is not a tough guy.
Yeah, we found he. Well, we'll get into that.
We'll get into later about that quarterback.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that really irks me, Dave, is why did we not capitalize right there at the end of the game?
It's prime
5
field
seconds
position.
left.
Prime field position.
We get that turnover on downs. We can spit and hit a touchdown.
Yeah.
And you're telling me this quarterback who's been firing on all cylinders, Pittsburgh defense has been out there all night long.
You've unleashed.
These guys are winded.
You know, I don't want to get too long-winded about this, Dylan. You remember early on in the season we talked about not wanting to show our hand, saving things for division games.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We were right, you idiots. We unleashed the weapon. We finally unleashed the weapon. The secret's out. Steve Carlson. It's out. Cat's out of the bag. You've already unleashed him. Why hide it now? You're first and goal on the 5. Yeah. Throw it to Steve Carlson.
Yeah. This
mega weapon.
The nuclear arsenal that you've had on the sideline this entire time. You already launched him. You're committed. You're pot committed at this point.
He's like, yeah, cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows about it. Now you just have to be dominant with him.
Let him go up and get it.
Just throw it up. He'll go get it. You know.
Look, go for the points. Put it away. It might feel, Dave, like a cheap shot.
Yeah.
And I get that. But look.
This is a rivalry game. It's a division game. It's a team you play again in 2 weeks. You got to send a message.
You got to send a message.
This isn't
them while they're down.
Yeah, this isn't technically a home and away aggregate game, but in a way it is. You know,
points
these points don't technically count in the next game, but emotionally they do emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not the only cheap shot that occurred in this game, but obviously we're going to cover this.
We're going to cover that later. And lastly here, I don't remember drinking during this game. I'm not a huge drinker, but it seems to me that I blacked out during the second and third quarters.
Yeah.
I really don't remember much of it at all, even watching the highlights.
Yeah.
Couldn't recall anything happening, like nothing at all.
I'm pretty sure my body went into like survival panic. Shut down all
like an anxiety hibernation.
Yeah, a real reptilian response to the fear.
So Dylan and I watched the highlights right before we started to record, and even in that, it seemed like the second and third quarter were missing.
Right,
which is weird.
Right.
And there was also one other part of the game that was missing.
A real big part.
But we're going to cover that later.
Yeah, we'll cover it.
All right, let's take a look at some Browns news.
Yes. And where do we get that news from, Dave?
www.clevelandbrowns.com/news/legal.
So here, Dave, we got some topics of discussion today. We got some big headlines.
Obviously,
you may have missed.
You've got the goings on with people in New York and talking points and all of this stuff.
All sorts of stuff going on. That things got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Obviously, we are going to talk about that stuff later, but right now we're going to talk about, just like the forgotten 21-7 victory over Pittsburgh football, we got some other things going on this week.
Yeah. So first thing, right at the top of the list, Moose Dog finally pulled the trigger and benched Swagger. He's starting SJ now. What's your thoughts, Dave?
That's a terrible move, Dylan. It's a terrible move.
Okay, all right.
Swagger Jr. is not ready. He is a rookie. He is inexperienced. This time of the year with the team in turmoil, Dylan, I need the reliable pause of Swagger.
Now, excuse my take, Dave. I must disagree with you, frankly, because that is a stupid opinion that you gave. Why'd you draft that high just to keep SJ sitting? Why'd you do it? What's he going to learn from Swagger that he has not already learned?
It's not about learning from Swagger. It's about spending some time on the sidelines, chewing a bone, ripping up papers. There's a lot of things that you don't know behind the scenes go on.
SJ's 42 months old, man. He is not getting any younger. That's dog months.
I understand that's dog months. It's just not the time for an unsteady paw. We need to keep... I don't agree with it. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm a fan first.
Get the spring chicken in there.
I just disagree with that. I think that could end up being a disastrous move.
Well, a lot of disasters happening with the Browns right now. We'll get to that
We
later.
will get to the disasters happening. But
Next topic for debate here, Dave. Return to the bog of the injury oracle. Freddie finally made the trek.
Yeah, we went down to the swing bridge, and we talked to her. Not happy she was.
No.
Not happy, and rightly so.
We haven't seen her in quite some time is the problem.
You'd have to be a real big fan to even know what the fuck we're talking about right now. But you know what? You are. Thank you.
Thank you, listener.
Thank you.
Thank you, listener, for listening since season 1.
Yeah. Thanks.
The injury oracle, for those uninformed, the injury oracle obviously negotiates and barters goods, incenses.
She was the one who took several young players away from us for us propping up Josh McCown.
Right. We had to patch him together. He was a broken individual. We went
kept
down
trotting
to the
him out
injury
there.
oracle, and she demanded a lot of high ankle sprains, a couple of concussions, just some.
It was in defiance of science and God.
Absolutely.
That Josh McCown. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand.
Right. So we had to go down there. Or Freddie had to go down there. He wanted to get. Look, where are we lacking depth right now? Tight end. Activate the chief.
It's time to activate the chief. It's true, because once Carlson is in, he's going to attract the double teams.
Right.
He's going to act as the Odell Beckham of the tight ends.
Got to have somebody to release to.
Yep, you got to have somebody to release to.
So what we really want to talk about here, though, are the points here on that negotiation. So Ogunjobi out for a game.
But I think it was a good negotiation, Dylan, because it's just one game.
Right.
It's against the Miami Dolphins. They're not a great team.
Yep.
If you would have gone with a lower profile player for a longer term, that might stretch into your playoff run.
It would. And you don't want to you don't want to hamstring the team in that way, because we've already got something. We'll talk about that later.
We don't want to talk about missing pieces. We will talk about that a little bit later.
So we've sated the injury oracle. She's happy with the deal. I guess Freddie's happy. He gets the chief back this week.
Yeah. So Dylan, did you know Swagger Jr. and Moose Dog aren't the only animals that hang around Berea right now?
You know what? I did not. Please tell me.
There's another one.
Okay.
The goddamn stork.
Oh, Dave, you had me with that one.
The stork.
The stork showed up to Lou Groza
The stork
Boulevard.
showed up to 80 Lou Groza Boulevard, went 2 doors down to the real entrance at 76 Lou Groza Boulevard. He flew past Jermaine Whitehead, who was waiting at 80 Lou Groza Boulevard, and he dropped off a bundle of joy.
Oh, my gosh. This little baby boy, long slapper Charlie Hewlett, announced the birth on Saturday.
Cute little baby boy.
Cute, but Dave, that's not the only thing that's going on, because there's another little stork happening here. Also, the Lamar Jackson MVP trophy candidate, Joe Schobert, announced that he and Megan are expecting.
You know, we all saw in that episode of Building the Browns that they were training their dog, and that this is obviously in a young married couple's life. You get the dog, you train the dog, and
Natural
that's
progression.
It's the natural progression of things. You're a young married couple. You get a dog, you train the dog, you get the dog to fetch things, bring things around, chase a ball.
Get a newspaper.
Yeah, and then once you've done that, then you think kids will be easy. You are wrong, but it's what you think.
It's what you think.
It is what you think.
Natural progression.
It's the natural progression.
This is a circle of life.
It is. And it's something that the dog's like, what the hell did you guys just do? I was just getting things figured out, and then you threw this in my face. Not literally, but then the kid will throw things in the dog's face, and the dog's
literally.
like, fine, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
The dog,
Dave,
they
you know
pretty
what they
much
say,
just deal
Dave?
with it.
You know what they say, Dave? Where's foreplay start?
Where?
With the dog toy.
Anyway.
So, but that brings up a point, Dave, that I wanted to talk about with you for a really long time.
Yeah.
And this is, call it a hot take, whatever you want.
Yeah. I'll call it that.
I am a very big proponent of what I have termed wild raising, where you...
Yes, I've watched football games at your house, and it is definitely wild.
Yes. So basically the idea is fashioned after Mowgli's child rearing experiences in the Jungle Book.
I'm just going to say, Dylan, I'm not a fan. I understand you want your children to grow up to be independent and free, but I want my children to interact with bears a lot less, especially bears who later go on to be, I'm going to say, questionable pilots. I mean, I don't know that his airline was legit. What kind of freight operation was he running, Baloo? I just don't like it. I prefer a style. It's not really helicopter parenting, but it's more like hoverboard parenting. What you do is you get a glass or plastic cube. Obviously, there are holes in the cube.
Right, obviously. Yeah.
And you keep everything away from your child. You keep your child
Just
secluded.
everything, yeah.
But also, you're there. So it's not like the child is not suffering in any way. They just cannot be touched or interacted with by anything that is not you.
Right.
Because that could be a bad influence.
Right.
You'll see it with this dog. If it would come near the cube, there would be a series of sirens followed by probably a water squirt to get the dog away. Because kids hate dogs. It's not. They hate dogs.
And hoverboards do not work over water.
No, they do not. These boards don't work on water unless you've got a pit bull, which, again, that's why you got the cube. So I'm just going to say that the cube is there for your own protection.
Yeah.
But what you have to watch out is that nobody gets injured on the cube.
Yeah.
So the thing that's meant to protect is then causes harm.
Yeah.
And obviously we've seen a reference of that, of something meant to protect that caused harm, but we're going to talk about that later.
Finally, Pittsburgh week, Dave, is always an event around here, obviously, but we'll talk about that
a little later we'll get to the big event.
Now, it seems like the baby trend, however, was very quick to catch fire around the metro area.
Sure was. If I do a little math here on my calendar, which is not spelled colander, that's what you make pasta in. But here, coming up middle of August 2020, going to be a few more calls from Mr. Stork.
I do believe so, because shortly after the Browns' Friday fumble, favorite player, Steven Carlson, when he made that godlike snag in the end zone to put the Brownskis up by 2 scores, couples were announcing conception by the dozens on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
A lot of stuff.
Everything.
And luckily, those people were able to consummate before the disturbing events that occurred later that we will talk about here in a few minutes.
Hey, this is Hugh Jackson, and now it is time to know your foe. Back to you, Dave and Dalen.
The Miami Dolphins. Bienvenido a Dolphins. Wow.
Ray Finkel.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this team. We will get into the roster here in a minute.
They are not laces out. I'm going to tell you that.
No.
Right now. Right away.
They are, and I will props to friend of the show Jeff Nomina, who is a Dolphins fan for some godforsaken reason about some member of his family or something ridiculously stupid. But anyway, they are attempting to do a full teardown, strip to the studs, Sashi Brown style.
Without Sashi Brown.
Without
Must
Sashi
be
Brown.
noted.
No, it must be noted because Sashi Brown, let me remind you, is still pulling the strings in Cleveland. Yeah.
Chess.
He's just, battle chess.
Battle chess.
Anyway, they are attempting to do the to the studs rebuild, but someone forgot to tell them to not win games. They are going to miss out because the Bengals have remembered to not win games.
And also, you know who else isn't down there pulling strings, Dave?
Who?
Gloria Estefan.
She is not. The sound machine has been dismantled. I don't know anything else about Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine.
That was plenty.
But that's enough. But the Dolphins did beat the Jets. They did beat the Colts. So at this point, they've got themselves in the 3rd or 4th pick. And if you're really going to try to get that number 1 pick and end up with Chase Young, you're going to need to hope the Bengals win a few games.
Yeah. And first and foremost, you got to lose to the Browns.
You're going to need to lose to the Browns, which we'll talk about the predictions here in a bit, but I just don't understand who told them that they were supposed to win a close game against the Colts. I mean, whose idea was that? Do you have any idea whose idea that was?
I'm trying to think right now.
First of all, they play in Hard Rock Stadium,
Yeah.
which means everybody gets the chicken quesadilla.
Chicken quesadilla. I think one of the factors for the Colts is that they do not have a Hard Rock in Indianapolis.
True.
So they were out all night.
Yeah.
With the memorabilia.
They were getting a pair of drumsticks to take home.
Yeah.
Indianapolis has some controversial characters on their team.
Oh, absolutely.
But the motto of the Hard Rock: love all, serve all.
Yeah.
So
doesn't matter who's coming in.
Doesn't matter who's coming in. You're gonna get your chicken fingers. You're gonna get your mozzarella sticks because they serve all.
Yeah. They might. Hey, and they uphold that motto. They'll come up to the table. They might not like you.
No.
But you know what? They're gonna serve you
And love you.
and love you. I don't like you, but I love you.
But I love you, and I will serve you these chicken fingers. Anyway, I guess we should probably take a look at the roster.
I mean, yeah. I mean, these are the guys that are going to be gifting us a win.
Yeah, and I would like to say thank you, Miami Dolphins, for having a roster that is way better to talk about than Pittsburgh football. That was terrible.
Just miles above.
So much better. And speaking of miles, we'll talk about that later. Frequent flyer miles, our program, stuff like that.
Oh, speaking of, I just want to take a moment right now. We are talking about Florida. Disney Plus still available.
Oh yeah, Disney Plus. You can watch The Jungle Book, as Dylan talked about.
Yep.
You can also watch, probably not Any Given Sunday. That's probably not on there. But the Miami Sharks were a team in that, so they'd probably be better than the Dolphins at this point. All right, let's talk about this roster.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, offensive side of the ball, host of the fictional Larry Sanders Show, Gary Jennings.
Left guard, Saturday Night Live standout, Chris Reed.
Lesser-known CTU agent John Bauer, played by Donald Sutherland's favorite son, Keaton Sutherland.
You'll find them on the cricket pitch between the wickets, Julian Davenport and Clive Walford.
When you introduce your American friend to your German friend, Michael? Dieter.
From Apocalypse Now, Air Cavalry Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Kilgore.
Internet, Jamarcus World Wide Web.
Oh man, the running back this week, he's going to get some serious ballage. Kalen.
When someone needs to flip the toast cheese crackers, you get DeLance Turner.
At quarterback, oh my God. Oh my God. This quarterback situation is too depressing to talk
We
about right now.
cannot.
Oh my God.
We cannot even go near that.
This is very disturbing. And there is one other disturbing thing we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about that
We'll get to it later.
later.
Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball and get away from that quarterback situation. Ugh. At nose tackle, master of the blackboard, Devon Godchocks.
The kid that stole your Michelangelo action figure from down the street, Trent Harris.
Original Disneyland Imagineer and winner of American Idol Season 234, Walt Aikens.
Find him on Disney+. Leaders of the Miami Occult, Crimson Deacons, Ken Crawley and Xavier Crawford.
From the Irish branch of the Wu-Tang Clan, Raekwon McMillan the chef.
When you burn the turkey on Thanksgiving, Nick, need ham!
Popular round breakfast item, Vince Bagel.
You know feeling good was good enough for me, good enough for me. And safety, Bobby McCain.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Star of Parks and Recreation, Rashada Jones.
Former Macklemore collaborator, Ryan Lewis. He's playing football.
Christian fucking Wilkins and John fucking Jenkins.
Linebacker, Deion Chantilly Lacey.
And Greg Williams' biggest reward, Taco Charlton Chew. And
Dave,
on
hey.
special teams,
You know what? We're going to do their special
we're doing them
teams.
because it's Miami.
It's Miami. The gift that keeps on giving here in the roster. At kicker, founder of Popeyes, Jason Colonel Sanders.
Punter, Matt Hawk.
Long snapper, Tabber Papper.
And, gentlemen, if we're going to secure the funding for this project, we're going to need to apply for the Jakeem grant. Browns, Dolphins. We've been teasing it all episode.
What a showdown this will be.
It's time to talk about the big thing that's on everybody's mind, Dylan.
Dollars and cents, the dollars and cents and the stats.
We've been saying all episode we're going to talk about it later, and
Power
here it
rankings.
is. It's time for the predictions. What's going to happen in this game?
Dave, we're going to see some production out of this Cleveland offense.
We're going to see some running.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see some
sure.
throwing,
Oh, my gosh.
some catching.
Our offensive line is going to show its abilities in troves.
Yes.
Protecting the run, protecting the pass, protecting everything.
Like a pitch, even. Like that's kind of half pass, half run.
Yeah. Protecting that, because that has been an issue.
It has been an issue, sometimes getting to the edge. But it's we're playing a team that is actively not trying to win, but has won. So this is a
Right.
team that's going to probably out Browns the Browns this week.
It's a tough situation.
And obviously, the thing that is on everyone's mind is, can the Browns win?
Can the Browns
Just
be
win.
out Browns?
Can they out Browns, or will the Browns take over and double down on the Browns? My opinion, Dylan,
Yes, I'd
is
like
the
to
Browns
know
are going to win this game probably 42-7.
That's a really, 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 really good guess.
42-7. I'm not going to predict any individual stats,
Please don't.
so I will
That would be
refrain from doing
offensive.
that. I would not want to offend you. But yeah, we're going to win 42-7.
Okay. I don't agree with you.
Okay, well, what do you think then?
Well, I think
What do you think?
I think we're going to win. I do agree with you on that point.
Okay.
I think the score is going to be a little tighter.
Okay.
I'm thinking 26-17.
Okay.
Browns win.
Okay.
26. You're looking at a missed field goal.
Okay. I just think that when we're going to put up 26, I'm just going, if I look back at their earlier schedule, Pittsburgh football put up 27 points on this team.
They sure did.
And that was a team that couldn't really get 2 first downs in a row.
Yeah, they were struggling, and also a little bit of a temper issue, but we'll talk about that.
We will talk about that later. I just think that the big thing to remember in this game is that the Dolphins are terrible, and even if the Browns aren't great, we should be able to beat them pretty
should be
handily.
able to
Yeah,
handle
it should
these
just be a simple thing that we.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say trap game,
And those people are wrong.
and those people are idiots.
Yeah, those
Frankly.
people are idiots. Have the Browns learned their lessons this year? No, not at all. They have played down to opponents, and based on their general talent level, have been able to squeak a few out against, say, the undermanned Pittsburgh football and the Tennessee Oiler Titans. They were not able to do so.
Right.
So the Denver Broncos, they were not able to do so.
It's tough when the entire left side of your screen of your iPad that
It just doesn't
that
have-
your routes are on.
Yeah, that's all of them.
It's tough to read when it's completely shattered.
He's going to need to own up to that at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. It's tough. It's an embarrassing situation. It's like if you forgot to ask for the syllabus at the beginning of the class.
Yeah, then
and
you
you get into
it's
it.
You're too
you don't wanna
embarrassed
tell
to
on
ask.
yourself.
Yeah, it's,
I
and
get it.
this was suggested to me by my wife as a strategy Freddie Kitchens can employ. That in order to cut down on some of the Browns' fumbles and turnovers, that the Browns should employ the carry around an egg for a month plan. And those players
Is
that
she
are
available for contract work?
yes,
Because
actually,
I think,
yeah.
that's a pretty quick drive over to Berea every day.
Well, yes, and so the players that can maintain their egg baby, also with some expecting players and some recent parents.
Lots.
I mean,
Yep, lot going on in the
if you
stork
can maintain
business.
your egg baby for a month, then we will put you back into the playbook.
You know what they say about egg babies, Dave?
What do they say about egg babies?
Starts with a dog trainer.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, I think you should do it. And you would go to @FridayFumble in order to do that. Dylan tweets, I tweet, Derek tweets, other Derek tweets. A lot of tweets coming out of there. Not a lot of you guys are following it, though. So why not? You have Twitter. What's one more? You know? Think about that. Enjoy the game this week. We'll see you next week with a very special episode of the Browns. Dylan, say something. You haven't said anything right now.
Friday Fumble.